Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. Later in the show, Lynette, Torivio, and Penny Frost will talk to us about autism and the Weaving Colors program at University of New Mexico Center for Development and Disability. And we'll chat with hairstylist Vee Newton. But right now, host Lanasha Pawati talks with Kyle Mitchell about the South Mountain Community College Construction Trades Institute.
I'm host Lanasha Pawati. On the phone with me is Kyle Mitchell, currently the program manager for Vice President of Learning at South Mountain Community College, who will talk to us today about the South Mountain Community College Construction Trades Institute. Hello, Kyle. It's an honor to have you on our show today.
Good morning. Yes, thank you very much for having me.
And before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and your Indigenous heritage?
Yes, definitely. So I am Dene, so that's Navajo. So just like any other person, Indigenous lineage, we always try to introduce ourselves within our native language. So within Navajo, it's Dene Bazad. So we're still in the morning time currently. So Yate Bene, She Kyle Mitchell Yenshia, Tuda Chitni Nishla, Na Kai Basachin, Kay Ani Dashache, Na Kai Dashanele. Kiltsui Bitwa, Ado Chechna Dozi Dana Shah. So that's who I am. My name is Kyle Mitchell. I work for South Mountain Community College. I work as a program manager here. So within my duties, I oversee our extended campuses in Guadalupe. In addition to that, special initiatives on behalf of our vice president. What happened to be a few years ago was the development and the creation of our Construction Trades Institute, which we reference as our CTI. So once again, thank you for having me.
Can you tell us more about the South Mountain Community College Construction Trade Institute?
So South Mountain Community College has been around for just over 40 years. We celebrated our 40th anniversary a year ago. And historically, South Mountain has always been a transfer institution. And it was the work of our former Vice President of Learning, Dr. Namuo, who really wanted to take a look at what the community needs are and what the industry needs are, and kind of setting the bar for the future. And so with that, we looked at, what type of trades, what type of careers, what type of certifications would make the most sense for our community at large. And so with that, we did a lot of research and data and looked at a lot of projections on careers, and we noticed that the construction industry, everybody is kind of terming out. And what I mean by that is they're retiring, and they need a new wave of new workforce. And so we decided to develop our Construction Trades Institute to really meet that demand. As you know, anybody who is attending any academic institution, whether it be for a degree or a certification, the end goal is always, how fast can I get done with this, and how fast can I enter the workforce? And so keeping that in mind throughout the development of our CTI, we developed it a very special way. So one thing is it is approved by DOE, Department of Education, so it is eligible for FAFSA. I just want to let everybody know that. The other thing is we have two trades that you can pick from. So you can either pick from an electrical path, or you can pick a carpenter/framing path. Both consist of 16 credits each, with 4 credits being introductory, 1 credit classes, and then the duration of the 12 credits are all hands-on. Again, keeping the student and the community in mind, we didn't want to bombard somebody with classes Monday through Friday. So what we did is 1 day a week. So an individual will come through the CTI, take 16 credits through 1 semester. So what I always say is 16 and 16. 16 credits in 16 weeks, and then you are done. You're completed. And the great thing about the program also is not just the training, not just the process, but what we do is we work very closely with our industry partners. They helped us develop the curriculum, because a lot of times people tend to, when they create programs, they tend to, just think about it internally. Like, let's think about this. This makes sense to us. But we didn't want to do that. So what we did is we brought in industry partners, and we really asked them what are you looking for in your future workforce? What do you need tomorrow? What does that look like, and what would that person, what would your ideal employee look like, starting entry level? And so we took that feedback. We asked them trade-specific things that make sense for anybody going into the electrical or anybody going into the framing. And it's really great. So once again, 16 and 16, 1 day a week. Students are done with, or they're completed in one semester, and we sprinkle our industry partners throughout the semester. So for example, we'll have somebody come in and talk about careers in construction. We tell our students all the time that just because you're in the electrical or you're in the framing doesn't mean you're going to do that forever. The industry, the construction industry specifically, is very diverse as far as positions, as far as trades go. And a lot of times individuals will jump from one to another, but the main thing is just getting their foot in the door for the first place.
Kyle, are these programs, I know you mentioned they meet, I think, once a week. Are they offered online or are they solely in person?
Yeah, good question. So we have kind of a blended learning model. And a lot of this had to do with when we first created the CTI, it was back in 2019, and then we launched 2020, the height of the pandemic. But the way we set it up was amazing. So we had students come in once a week. And so when they come in one day a week, that time is really hands-on work. And then throughout the week, they have online assignments. So it's a blended model. So where they'll learn the curriculum, they'll do kind of the book work online, and then when they come in for class, everything will be hands-on, 100%.
Who is eligible for this program? Like, do you need prior education or knowledge of these areas?
No, actually not. So again, when we were thinking about building this, we wanted this to be an open entry program. And so what I mean by open entry is that anybody can join. There's no prerequisites of you needing any type of certification, any type of experience, because, within our first cohorts when we started, a lot of students had no idea about the construction industry. They just said, I have an uncle, I have some family that are in construction. I really don't know what they do, but I want to do something like that. But, how do I get started? And so we take them through. We build them up the skills with power tools. We build up the skills with blueprint reading. We build their confidence and their comprehension of math, right? So we look at basic algebra and we reinforce that in the classroom. The other thing we do is we help them with their resume writing. So that way, if they don't want to take an opportunity with one of our partners, they're able to go out into the workforce and do whatever they like. And again, keeping in the mindset of an open entry program, we have an opportunity for individuals to, if they don't have any completion of high school, so whether that is a high school diploma or a high school equivalency, which was previously referenced as a GED, if an individual does not have a GED or a high school diploma, they're able to come to South Mountain and able to enroll in our partnership with Rio Salado, so they can take their GED prep classes along with being concurrently enrolled in one of our construction trades. So essentially, an individual can start their GED prep and start one of our construction trades at the same time and complete both with their GED as well as their certification from us.
Can you tell us again, how long is this program, and can you tell us more about the certificates or the degrees that they could obtain through this program?
The great thing about the CTI is a lot of other trades, when they're within higher education, right? So whether that be community college based, whether that be university based, a lot of times when they look at workforce programs, they do what they call clock hours, right? So it's almost like a pre-apprenticeship to where you have to complete X amount of hours within this timeline. What we did, instead of taking that approach, because it's hard to track an individual's progression as a group, and so what we did is we have all of our classes are credit. And so what I mean by credit is 16 credits. So each section is 3 credits. And so when a student signs up, they know exactly what that cost is going to be with 3 credits. And the great thing about it, the program is all 4 credit. So an individual, once you come into South Mountain Community College and you sign up for the CTI, you are a South Mountain Community College student. And with that, there's a lot of benefits that we have within the Maricopa umbrella that students can take advantage of. In addition to that, a student can choose to either come through the program and complete one of the certificates that we have, which is the 16 credits in 16 weeks, and they can, exit from there and they can join the workforce if they like. If they want to continue their education and work on something, our certificates are embedded within our construction degree within Maricopa. So an individual can come by, they can complete our certificate, and all of those credits will transfer 100% towards that construction degree. And so when you think about it, if an individual is brand new, has never been to college, and now they join the CTI, and now all of a sudden they have 16 credits of official college credits towards them, and they're able to, just pick up their degree and complete that. And so the certificate, 16 credits, and then that goes towards, if they choose, towards a construction degree, which is an associate, about 62 credits. So 16, you take that out of 60, that's all you have left. And a lot of that is going to be your core, like your general classes, your math, your English, your reading, things like that. But it also opens up areas for electives. So that way individuals can get a robust education with that. So again, there's two opportunities for individuals. You can either just take the certificate, which is the 16 credits, or you can do the degree where you complete those 16 credits and then continue on the next semester taking care of the rest of the credits towards that degree requirement.
Kyle, how often does this program start enrollment?
So we go every semester. So we're on a traditional calendar of where we do fall semesters and spring semesters. We're currently working on a structure of where we can, hopefully, maybe in another year, get to summer cohorts. So it's fast and furious, condensed over the summer, but for now, we start our classes in the fall, in August, and then it concludes in December, and then we start again in January, and then they conclude in May.
Do you assist with finding employment for the graduates?
So when we were creating the CTI, we really didn't want it just to be, congratulations, here's your certificate, good luck. We really wanted to have a follow-through and a follow-up at the very end. So all of our industry partners agreed to have interviews with all of our completers. So any student who completes the program can interview with any of our partners. One of our partners really stepped up and really has a huge base for opportunity, and that's McCarthy. And so McCarthy is a general contractor, and they're one of our partners. And what they do is they actually come in during, I believe, the first week, and they give students the talk about potential opportunities with McCarthy. And then as the semester is going on, and maybe 2 weeks before the semester ends, we'll actually have McCarthy come back out and set up on-site interviews with individuals who would like that. What we're seeing right now with a lot of individuals is kind of a split. So we have about half that are interested in getting on with the company, starting in the industry and doing that. But then we also have another the other half of our population really wants to just build skills, right? So if I could learn, for example, we had quite a few veterans come through our cohorts. And what they do is they really wanted to do work themselves on their own home. They didn't want to have to pay, they didn't want to have to do this, so they were able to kind of take that opportunity to just develop their skills more. So anybody who comes through our CTI is going to have a guaranteed job interview at the end, whether that's with one of our partners or whether that's with an external group that we bring in, but we do try to get that platform set. So that way, again, we are doing everything. We're not just saying, okay, you're here for education and that's it. We're connecting them with industry and getting them there. McCarthy is great about this. So for example, our first cohort back in 2020, we had an individual came in through the program, he was unemployed, and then he interviewed with McCarthy. He was unemployed for about a year. He was kind of struggling, having a hard time, and he was able to get into our program and then get hired by McCarthy and be able to get his first paycheck the week of Christmas. And he was able to buy Christmas presents for his family. And so it's things like that that really let us know that we're on the right path, that we really are supporting our community with the best offers or with the best opportunities we can by having that industry link for employment opportunities.
And finally, how can our listeners learn more about the South Mountain Community College Construction Trade Institute, and how can they contact you if they have further questions?
Okay, so the best place to go is our website. Our website is all spelled out, southmountaincc.edu. And you can, if you want, do a / put in CTI, and that will take you to our page, or you can put CTI into the search bar. There, what you'll find is we have an interest form. So we're really good about our turnaround time. So if an individual goes to our website, southmountaincc.edu / CTI, they'll land on our page. And as you scroll down, you'll see an interest form. And it's very, very basic. The fields are your first name, your last name, phone, email, best way to contact you, what trade you're interested in, just those questions. So once an individual completes that, one of our staff members will get back to them within 24 hours.
That's great. I would like to thank you, Kyle, for taking time out to talk to us today to tell us more about this great program that you have to offer at the South Mountain Community College.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me as a guest today.
Coming up, we'll talk with Lynette Torivio and Penny Frost. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy, and on the phone today with us is Lynette Torivio and Penny Frost, who are here to talk to us about autism. It's an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you for having us. I mean, we are pleased to be here as your guests on this program.
Can you please tell us both a little bit about yourselves?
Hello, I'm Penny Frost, and I'm an education consultant with the University of New Mexico Autism Programs. I hold a master's degree in education, and I'm currently working toward a graduate certificate in autism spectrum disorder. And I've had the distinct pleasure to work with Lynette for some time now, and I've been with her on the Weaving Colors project since its conception in 2022. So thank you so much for having us.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lynette Torivio, and I am a family specialist at the UNM Center for Development and Disability Autism Programs. First and foremost, I am a mother of a young lady on the autism spectrum, and we are both members of the Pueblo of Acoma.
So, Penny, can you tell us what is autism and how's it diagnosed?
So, the Center for Disease Control, or CDC rather, defines autism spectrum disorder as a developmental disability that can cause significant social, communication, and behavioral challenges. The learning, thinking, and problem-solving abilities of people with ASD can range from gifted to severely challenged. Some people with ASD need a lot of help in their daily lives, and others need less. The evaluation of autism is completed through observation by a team of professionals, which might include a pediatrician, a diagnostician, and other clinicians. The Diagnostic Statistical Manual sets the criteria for a diagnosis in autism spectrum disorder. And this manual states that a child must have persistent deficits in the areas of social communication and interaction, plus exhibit some form of restricted, repetitive behaviors.
Okay, Penny, so since I'm not very well versed in a lot of that, what's the early signs if I've got a toddler? What should I be looking for?
So when we think about early signs of autism, we take a perspective that focuses on a child's growth and development in multiple learning domains. Many child specialists, including pediatricians, therapists, teachers, and others, address their work with children through this developmental perspective. So we're talking about persistent deficits in social communication and interactions across multiple contexts. Social emotional reciprocity can be observed in many children to be as a struggle, which is that sharing of a common interest with another person, a shared love of dogs, perhaps, where two children might pet the dog and smile and giggle back and forth with each other and say how cute the doggy is. With a child with autism, you might not see this reciprocity. And it's not to say that they don't have feelings for the dog and their peer, but they just might not share that reciprocity outwardly. Nonverbal communication can be challenging, such as understanding gestures and facial expressions, body language, kind of reading the room, so to speak. When you walk into a space, maybe a doctor's office, and everyone in the waiting room is quiet, so you automatically know to be quiet, a child with ASD might not pick up on this. They might need to be explicitly taught quiet voices. Likewise, they might not pick up on facial expressions. And another developmental milestone that a child with ASD might not exhibit is that they might not point to show things to others.
And Penny, this is a piece that I would like to jump in on. And so what we know to be true in most Native communities is that finger pointing is seen as a cultural taboo. And so it can be difficult for parents to understand that this might be an early indicator when it's their cultural norm.
Right. Thank you for sharing that.
So I guess my question is that, like, what age, and I don't know who would want to answer this, what age do you start looking at this? Like at 1 year, younger, a little bit older? Because I know early intervention is key to this.
We typically start seeing signs between 3 and 5 years old in preschool, and I'm an early childhood educator, so that's when we educators typically start seeing signs. Infants with autism tend to develop normally, outwardly, and so you might not see signs until up into 3 to 5 year olds, and oftentimes children might go into a couple of grades of public school without being diagnosed. Lynette, do you have anything to add about that?
I would basically share my own personal experience with my daughter. My daughter was diagnosed a week after her 3rd birthday. What led us to the diagnosis was not any of the symptoms that Penny talked about. It was actually her lack of walking. She struggled trying to walk, and so that was my red flag that, okay, something's wrong. And so we got into early intervention, just like you stated, Susan, and the importance of that. And it was the early interventionist that actually pulled me aside and showed me an article about the signs and symptoms. It was 25 of autism. After I read it, I realized that my daughter had 20. So I wasn't looking at some of those other things. That was more the physicality stuff that she was lacking. And not all children, of course, will develop the same way that my daughter is, but that was where I got in touch with those folks who then pointed out that, okay, we're seeing something.
Wow, I did not know there were 25 signs, and I did not know that there were any physicality indicators of that. That's very interesting. So can you tell us some of the current statistics of how many Native American youth are affected or diagnosed with autism, or adults, or do you have any statistics?
Oh, gosh, Susan, I really wish I had some numbers for you, but there really aren't any. Many factors play into that, and it could be due to the fact that parents aren't aware of these symptoms, and there aren't culturally relevant screening tools either for autism. And so, I mean, we can also talk about there being not enough people kind of actively going out into the communities to collect that data. But what I can tell you is that there is 1 in 44 children will be identified as having a diagnosis of autism.
Wait, back up. How many? When and what? 1 in 4?
1 in 44.
Oh, 44. Okay. Wow, that's a lot of kids.
1 in 44 children. Yeah, there is a lot of kids. And I mean, ASD does not discriminate. It affects every ethnic, racial, socioeconomic group. And it's actually, it occurs 4 times more likely in boys than it does in girls.
Oh, I didn't know that either. Okay. All right. So question for you, I think, Lynette, can you tell us what's the Weaving Colors program?
So Weaving Colors is a presentation series that was developed for Native families, dedicated to discussing important topics on autism and how they're viewed and addressed in the Native culture. We really created it as a safe place for families to come together and share their stories and make those connections with, you know, the people that are in attendance, other families, other providers, our presenters, whoever is there.
Is this only for families in New Mexico, or is this open to any Native family?
I am so happy that you asked that. We've had just a lot of interest. We've got people from mostly all of our pueblos within New Mexico. We've reached into the Navajo Nation, which of course extends into the Four Corners. We've had people as far as Alaska join us. So it's really great to see, you know, that representation there and to have everybody's views come together.
That's awesome. I thought it was only New Mexico. So that's really good news for families that need support and additional information. So do you all connect them then with early intervention programs?
We do have a UNM family and provider resource team at the Center for Development and Disability, and family peer support specialists such as Lynette are available over the phone at 505-272-1852. And the family peer support specialists can also be reached via email at hsc-autismprograms@salud.unm.edu. And again, as Lynette said, they are available to help families connect with resources in New Mexico and Arizona and other adjoining states. So definitely keep that in mind. We also have on our UNM CDD Autism Portal website, we have a Native Resources tab where folks can watch past episodes of recordings of the Weaving Colors training. And this tab was just introduced, so we will be adding resources to that as well soon.
I am so glad you have these resources for families. I know that when I had my son, and my youngest son had some issues when he was born, knowing that there's support out there can make all the difference in the world when you're feeling isolated, lonely, scared, and you all are doing such a tremendous job. So finally, is there anything else that you didn't cover that you wanted to let our listeners know about autism within the Native community? How can they contact you, or anything else? And again, the contact information.
Early developmental indicators of autism often describe an absence of typical skills or a delay. However, it's really important to note that a single missed milestone is not always an indication for concern or referral. Every child truly does develop at their own pace, and no two children are exactly the same. So we always steer clear of jumping to conclusions. And instead, if you have a question, discuss that with your pediatrician.
That's a good point. Okay, so one more time, what's your contact information?
So you can get a hold, there's a couple of ways that you can get a hold of us if you're interested in weaving colors or just want to connect with one of the family specialists. So you can give us a call at 505-272-1852, or you can send us an email at hsc-autismprograms@salud.unm.edu, attention weaving colors. And I think for me, the piece that I want to leave for those family members is it's not always going to be this hard. I know it can be really rough when you're going through an initial diagnosis, when your child is having a meltdown, but it's not always going to be this hard. There is that light at the end of the tunnel, and we've all been there. We've seen it, we've walked it, and we've come through that much stronger.
I like your positive message to close with. Thank you. And thanks for taking the time to speak with us today, both Lynette and Penny. We really, really appreciate it and know that listeners are going to find this useful and give you a call.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Up next, Susan chats with hairstylist Vee Newton. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health can help you enroll, renew, or update your access information. This can be done in person, on the phone, or via Zoom, days, nights, or weekends. It's fast, easy, and can make a difference in keeping your health care coverage. For more information, call 602-279-5262.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy, and in the studio with me today is Vee Newton, a hairstylist located in Scottsdale. Hello, Vee. It's an honor to have you on the show today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm super excited. I've heard such great things about you, so we're glad to have you. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your Indigenous heritage?
First of all, my name is Vee Newton. I am from Chaco Canyon, New Mexico, where I was born. I'm Navajo, Dene. My clans, as we introduce ourselves in Navajo, is Ashiha, which is a Sauk clan. I'm Ashiha, and Nahabani is my father's side. So that's who I am.
So let's start with the basics. Can you tell us a little bit, how did you get interested in hair and beauty school and the whole thing?
I've always been interested in anything that pertained to fashion or anything that had to do with clothing or exterior appearances, makeup. And I just felt like hair was one of the easiest things for me to do that didn't require having to wear a suit and a tie.
Well, you look amazing and beautiful. I love what you're wearing today. So
thank you.
So tell me, where'd you go to beauty school? How long's the process? Is it hard? Does it take a long time?
I went to beauty school here in Phoenix. It was in 1990 I went to school, and it takes about 10 months from, I don't know, that's been 34 years ago, so maybe it's longer now, I don't know. But it did take me 10 months to finish, and back then it was, I think the pricing of the school was amazingly lower than it is today. So
like everything, right?
I was very fortunate to be able to take advantage of the opportunity at that time.
So I know you said you've been doing hair for like 30 some odd years. So what inspired you to become a business owner and open your own salon in Scottsdale?
I didn't want to work for anybody else anymore.
Good answer.
And plus, I wanted to do something for myself. And I felt like being a business owner, when I initially went in, I had no idea really what I was getting involved in. I thought that I was going to be simply doing hair in what I started off was in a 100 square foot studio. And when I did that, I had no idea, and I was very scared when I first did it. But I did it simply because I wanted to create hair and work with products that are plant-based and also more geared towards organic concepts. So the salon I had worked in, which was corporate hair, which I worked for corporate hair for a greater part of my career, I decided it was time to move on to something that was going to be more geared towards what my vision is in my mind.
So now you're using like a lot of plant-based, organic. Do you use any indigenous products or?
And that is something I really want to start incorporating into the salon. And I'd even had considered working with a chemist to develop some Native American geared products where we can use some indigenous kind of plants where we can create shampoos and conditioners based on that. But if there's a chemist out there, please contact me.
I know we had somebody on the radio show recently who was doing I thought she was doing some hair products a couple weeks ago. So we'll have to connect you with her. I think she's up at Navajo.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I also had heard that you had done the hair at the Phoenix Indian Center's fashion show.
Correct.
A couple weeks ago.
Correct.
So what kind of stuff did you do there? I heard it was that you did a great job.
Oh, I worked with the designer, Cher Thomas, and thank you so much for her being so gracious. I worked with her, and I worked on her models, and we did some nice twists, and we added some braids, and just mainly styling to kind of accentuate her designs.
And then do you do a lot of fashion shows like that, or are you looking to do that?
That fashion show was one of my first indigenous fashion shows I've done. I normally do shows are geared towards the LGBTQ community. So those are the type of shows I'm familiar with.
How does your salon create awareness about like Native American LGBTQ issues?
Well, first of all, I am LGBTQ and I am indigenous. So the conversations with my clients who sit in my chair usually revert to my heritage, and then it starts into talking about, but when you're sitting in any salon chair, you're talking, you get to know the person you're sitting with. So because you're sitting there for hours doing color and you get to know people. So when you're talking with me, I am Native American, so that's always a big topic, and it reverts to, in some cases, it does revert to the LGBT, because my business is geared towards LGBTQ merchandise as well. So I do have a little gift shop in the front that caters and likes to bring awareness to our LGBTQ community with pamphlets or with pride items like flags and clothing, jewelry. So that is quite evident. You walk in, and you're saying, okay, well, yeah, this is a business that helps bring that type of awareness. So it's just quite plain clear that when you walk in.
And I assume it's always, I know when I get my hair cut that it's like they're a counselor or therapist for me, and I can always vent, and I know it's a safe space. So I would imagine your clients think the same thing, and they can talk to you and you can educate them, and they're interested in things that you're doing and learning more. Do you find that?
That is the pure beauty of what my magician abilities are, is when I started doing hair, I really thought I was just going to be doing hair, but it has so much more to do with doing just hair. It's getting to know people and getting to know who they are. And especially when I went off on my own, I've learned like people. I mean, I'm by myself in the salon. So when you're alone in a room with somebody, people are more likely to share more about themselves and talk more freely, which is the beauty behind my beauty business. Is I love healing people on an exterior level where the hair is healed and they look great, and that's the beginning when people start healing themselves on the inside by bringing things out. When you talk to people, like you said, you speak. It's like hair people are kind of like therapists. Hairstylists like to call it therapy. So
it definitely is therapy. Definitely.
Yeah. So especially when you're in there by yourself with me, and I feel like what my clients do tell me is that they tell me that I have a tendency to really I'm genuine. I am who I am, and there's no fronts. And I talk very openly about things. I'm very open about my life and my turmoils, my struggles, and you share. And sharing is part of healing, and that's what the concept and the base of where my business headed, which it just kind of evolved into that. And I think that in a way kind of amazed me right before my eyes. And that's the beauty of it all, to say.
Okay. So what do you do in your personal time to help advocate and create awareness about Native American LGBTQ issues?
Drag shows. Get dolled up and do your makeup and go and drag.
That's awesome. So is there a particular venue that focuses on Native American LGBTQ drag shows, or is it just all the places in town?
Yeah, like right now, we have a venue in town that has a beauty review called Excuse My Beauty. Excuse My Beauty is an all Native American drag show venue and a drag show which features all local Native American indigenous performers. And
where is it? Wait. And
that is in Phoenix. It's right on like 7th Street in Osborne, and it's called it's called Cruisin' 7th. Yeah, there you go.
It's on 7th Ave. You said 7th Street in Osborne.
7th Street in Osborne, and
okay.
It's called Cruising 7th. It used to be called Cruising Central back in the day, and that's what caught me, because that's when I used to go there frequently back in the day. But I no longer I'm a recovering alcoholic, so I don't go to bars for drinking anymore. So I just go there to raise funds and awareness through doing drag, or help supporting the performers when they're performing, when they do perform, when I don't feel like getting all dolled up. And it's a lot of work.
Really?
Yes.
Does it take a lot of time?
It takes a lot. I have so much respect for the performers. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort to do, and it takes hours to get your hair and your makeup on, and to be in drag for hours at a time is exhausting, because you have lots of makeup on, you've got lots of hair on, and you've got lots of accessories and clothes on, and things are taped and tucked and everything is everywhere. It's like, so you're like just
but you
duct
love
taped
it
up.
But do you love it?
Oh my God, yes. It's fun to do. It's one of the queens actually told me, and I asked her, why is it that you like to do drag? And because I was curious on why she liked to do it, to see if it coincided with why I like to do it. And it's like it's kind of like a character that we have inside ourselves that is that person who has been ridiculed, and person that has been mocked by when we were children for being gay. We were ostracized. We were made fun of, and years of that abuse, verbal abuse, and sometimes, unfortunately, physical abuse. There comes a time where enough is enough, and you want to embrace the part of yourself that you felt like was stuck inside for so long, and it just comes out. And the being in drag is like kind of like a suit of armor. You're going off to work for the community do some advocacy work, speak about some issues that are important, that need to be addressed. Some of them are social, and some of them are political, and those things are very important. And we do it in dress because it helps attract people. It attracts people, and it makes people feel amazed, like, oh my God, you guys look absolutely amazing. And it starts to create conversation, and people are more likely to come up to you. People take photos with you, and it helps create that awareness.
So for people that aren't familiar with the term Two-Spirit that are listeners, what does that mean? And is that a good term? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I believe that Two Spirits was initially created by, it came from that documentary. I believe her name was Lydia Nibley, and I believe that's her name. If I got it wrong, please, I apologize to her. She created that documentary about Fred Martinez, who was a Navajo transgender male in Cortez, Colorado, who was unfortunately brutally murdered. And that's what the documentary was about. And she didn't know how to address Native American gay people in Native American terms, so she decided to use the word Two Spirits because a lot of gay Native people, Indigenous people, believe that we are two entities when we are LGBTQ. We have this internal, struggle, I guess, in some cases, where you feel the gender of both genders inside you. So by having two spirits inside us, that's how it was addressed. According to my Native Navajo belief, is we call them Nudle. We call ourselves Nudle in Navajo, and Nudle means changing people. And as a Nudle person, we have the ability to understand and to be both genders, because we also we believe that there's 4 genders in our belief as Navajo people, which unfortunately has been lost. That teaching has been lost. It's been lost due to Euro-Christianity, and it has been also diluted in the years. But those genders, first man being woman. Woman is the first gender, where in American or Western thought pattern is male is first gender, but women are first gender. Let me repeat that. Women. And then second gender is man. So women are considered first gender because they are the creators, just as Mother Earth is our creator. She's the fertile ground, and she's the life force behind the world and the universe. And then male is second gender, and then we have a third gender, which is a Sanatlet, which is changing woman. And then the fourth gender is Eskin Nutlet, which is changing man. In my case, I would be Eskin Nutlet, where I am a changing man. I don't necessarily like to address myself as a man. I'm more of a kind of a person. Nutlet, I'm a changing person.
Thank you. I think that's a great description and more information for our listeners. So I know we're almost out of time, but I wanted to ask you, if listeners wanted to learn more about either your hair or your advocacy or the drag shows, how would they contact you?
They can find me on my social media platform, which is, I have a Facebook account, which is Vee Newton. And also I have a business page, which is Hair Nirvana by Vee. And I also have an Instagram, which is also Hair Nirvana by Vee.
Vee, super fun to have you in today. I've learned so much that I didn't know. I've heard you do amazing hair, and I can't wait to go see you at, what was it again?
Hair Nirvana.
At Hair Nirvana.
Hair Heaven.
All right.
That's what Nirvana is. Okay. Heaven.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on today. We really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and 90.7 FM KRDP. Our executive producer is Susan Levy, sound engineer is Javier Quiroga, and our host is Lanasha Puadi. We hope you will tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please reach us at nativetalkaz@listen2krdp.com.